somebody very close to me. I was at a party once and I was dancing and they said embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. Go out there and make a fool of yourself.
Right.
To just go for it. Like feel that feeling, the fear of cringe.
That's
and
really
then go out
good.
there and do it.
Dude,
Because
that's
everything
really
you want
good.
is on the other side of that.
Austin Butler said something that most people will never understand. Embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. Go out there and make a fool of yourself. While everyone laughed it off as quirky actor advice, he was pointing at something profound, something that keeps most people trapped their entire lives. The fear of looking stupid, the terror of being judged, the prison of appearing perfect. You've been there, standing at the edge of doing something, saying something, trying something new, and then that voice kicks in. What if I mess up? What if they laugh? What if I look ridiculous? So you step back, you play it safe, you choose the comfortable cage over uncertain freedom, and you tell yourself it's wisdom, caution, maturity. But really, it's fear wearing a respectable mask. Most people spend their entire lives in this pattern. They don't raise their hand in meetings because they might say something wrong. They don't pursue their creative ideas because they might fail publicly. They don't express how they really feel because they might be rejected. They curate every social media post, rehearse every conversation, calculate every move, all to avoid one thing, the possibility of embarrassment. But here's what nobody tells you. That fear of embarrassment isn't protecting you. It's suffocating you. Every time you choose safety over authenticity, you're trading a piece of your aliveness for acceptance. And after years of this trade, you wake up one day and realize you've become a stranger to yourself, a carefully constructed persona that everyone approves of, but nobody actually knows. Think about it like this. Imagine you're an actor, but you've only ever played one role, the person who never makes mistakes. You've perfected this character, you know all their lines, you've mastered their carefully measured responses. But here's the problem. You've been playing this role so long, you've forgotten it's not actually you. We all wear social masks to fit in, to be accepted, to avoid rejection, and the mask itself isn't the problem. We all need one to function in society. The problem is when the mask becomes so rigid, so carefully maintained, that we lose touch with everything underneath it. The messy parts, the uncertain parts, the parts that might stumble, fail, or look foolish. Western culture has made this worse. We've been conditioned to believe that confidence means never looking uncertain, that success means never failing publicly, that maturity means always having it together. So we've created a world full of people performing confidence while quietly drowning in insecurity. Everyone pretending they know what they're doing while terrified someone will discover they don't. And embarrassment, that's treated like a fate worse than death. We'll go to extreme lengths to avoid it. We'll stay in jobs we hate, relationships that don't fit, life paths that suffocate us, all because changing course might mean admitting we were wrong, might mean looking foolish, might mean people seeing us struggle. But Butler's insight flips this completely. What if embarrassment isn't the enemy? What if it's actually the doorway to freedom? What if the very thing you've been running from your entire life is exactly what you need to walk through, to become who you actually are? When Butler says embarrassment is underexplored, he's pointing at something radical. Most people have never actually let themselves be embarrassed. Not truly. They've felt the fear of it. They've avoided situations where it might happen. They've cringed at memories of past embarrassments, but they've never consciously walked into it, sat with it, explored what's actually there. It's like having a locked room in your house that you've been terrified of opening for decades. You walk past it every day, feeling that low-grade anxiety, building stories about what horrible thing must be inside. And all that energy goes into maintaining the locks, reinforcing the door, making sure nobody ever opens it. What if you just opened it? What if the monster you've been avoiding is just an old coat rack casting shadows? Here's what happens when you actually explore embarrassment. You do something that makes you look foolish. Your face gets hot. Your heart races. That sinking feeling hits your stomach. And then it passes. The world doesn't end. People might laugh, but they move on. Some might judge, but they were going to judge anyway. And you're still here, still breathing, still intact. Actually, more than intact. You're a bit more free, because every time you survive an embarrassing moment, you prove to yourself that the thing you feared wasn't actually dangerous. It was just uncomfortable. And there's a massive difference between danger and discomfort. Danger threatens your survival. Discomfort threatens your ego. And your ego has been running the show for way too long. Now here's where Butler's insight becomes truly revolutionary. He didn't just say embarrassment is underexplored. He said something even more powerful. Everything you want is on the other side of that. Let that sink in for a moment. Everything you want. The relationship you're too scared to pursue. The career change you keep putting off. The creative project you haven't started. The authentic life you dream about when nobody's watching. It's all waiting on the other side of your willingness to look foolish. Think about what you actually want in life. Not what you think you should want, but what genuinely calls to you. Now ask yourself, what's stopping you? If you're honest, it's not lack of resources or opportunity or time. It's the fear of what people will think if you try and fail. It's the image of yourself fumbling, struggling, not being good at it immediately. It's embarrassment standing at the gate, and you've been treating it like an impenetrable wall. But it's not a wall, it's a doorway. Nobody who's achieved anything meaningful got there by playing it safe. Every artist had to share work that wasn't ready. Every entrepreneur had to pitch ideas that got rejected. Every person in a fulfilling relationship had to risk saying, I like you, first. They all walked through embarrassment to get to the thing they wanted. Not around it, through it. Here's the mechanism. Your comfort zone is defined by your tolerance for discomfort. Most people have trained themselves to retreat the moment embarrassment appears on the horizon. They've made it the boundary they will not cross. So everything they want that requires vulnerability, risk, or visibility stays forever out of reach. They've essentially built their entire life inside a circle drawn by fear. Embarrassment is temporary, but regret is permanent. That moment of looking foolish lasts minutes. The regret of not trying lasts years. You'll forget the specific details of most embarrassing moments within weeks. But you'll remember the things you didn't do because you were afraid for the rest of your life. Do it again and again. Each time, you're not just building tolerance. You're fundamentally rewiring how you relate to social discomfort. Your brain is learning that the thing you've been treating as a threat isn't actually dangerous. Initially, embarrassment triggered your fight or flight response as if a predator was attacking. But through experience, your nervous system recalibrates. The alarm gets quieter. The recovery gets faster. Eventually, you can do something embarrassing and laugh about it in real time. And then you start noticing the prizes on the other side. That creative project you finally shared, someone connected with it deeply, that conversation you were terrified to have, it opened up the relationship, that new skill you looked ridiculous learning, you're now competent at it. That risk you took that might have embarrassed you, it led somewhere you never could have planned. Butler's promise proves true. Everything you wanted was waiting on the other side of embarrassment, not around it, not by avoiding it, through it. Once you've crossed that threshold enough times, everything changes. You stop making decisions through the filter of how will this look. You start choosing based on what's actually true for you, what genuinely calls to you, what makes you feel alive, even if it makes you look ridiculous. Want to change careers at 45? The old you would calculate all the ways people might judge that decision. The new you asks, is this what I actually want? The energy you were spending maintaining your image gets redirected into actually living, and people notice. They can sense you're not performing anymore. You're not managing impressions, calculating responses, curating your personality. You're just present, real, and in a world drowning in carefully constructed personas, that authenticity is magnetic. Some people are drawn to it, others are repelled by it. Both outcomes work perfectly because you're finally attracting what matches who you actually are.